As always, it's a great pleasure to be with you. Usually we're talking to guys who are on the tour who don't understand why, don't have a feeling for why they do some of the things that they do in their golf swing, that they have world-class hand-eye coordination and don't know why they're so gifted. Jim does, and he can help you with your game, where some of the guys that we bring in don't know how to get in touch with their own game. So I thought one of the things that we would do that would be different tonight is to let Jim talk to you about what you can and can't do on the golf course. And Jim, of course, is recognized always as one of the top 1, 2, or 3 teachers in the world, even by the guys that don't like him. When Jim was an amateur, he won well over 50 golf tournaments. He had the option of becoming a professional player or helping thousands and thousands of people get better at their games, including some of the best players in the world. Jim, say hi.
Well, hi, thank you very much. Congratulations, Brendon, and the section here, and Jeff. Thank you, Jeff, for inviting me. It's great to come, just to be here and talk with you a little bit. It's great to see you do something for the kids in the area and get the caddy program going a little bit. I caddied when I was a kid back in Seattle, Washington, and it's a great thing to caddy, you know, to see, you learn a lot as a caddy. I learned a lot from Jackie Burke, who's been a mentor of mine, who you probably don't know, in Houston, Texas. I went to school in Houston. He was a caddy, like Hogan and Demerit, those great players. And he said there's a lot of corporate stuff going on in the caddy yard, you know, the hustling and the gambling and street smarts in the caddy yard. So I think I learned a lot as a caddy. That was a great time for me, and I was lucky to play at Houston. I lived with some great players, guys that won all the majors. And then Kressge and Kite were at the University of Houston, Texas, which was our rival. We still hate Texas, so I was happy to see them hammer and play Elliott. But in the championship game. But anyway, like Peter said, well, we'd just like to, you know, go through, answer some questions. Anything you want to talk about with your own game, or anything else that you might want to bring up. And that's kind of an evening, very informal.
Jim and I, go ahead.
Sorry, I'll start it out. Jim, I work at the University of Iowa in the Hawkeyes, and I found out today that they had been ranked in the 30s, and we hosted the Golf Collegiate Challenge last year, 15 Division I schools from the 15 different conferences, and they did very well. I finished second to get up to behind Florida State, I should say. I found the pre-poll. I heard the pre-poll today. They ranked number 4. And
your team?
Yeah, the University of Iowa. Yep. And so I was excited too. I hadn't heard the pre-rankings yet. So Sunday I'll see the team, and just curious what your thoughts would be. You know, a team that is up and coming, a bunch of good players, and they're in a position where now the University of Iowa maybe never been ranked in the top 5 ever, maybe never in the top 10. I'll have to look and see. And you know, what would be your advice for them going into a season like that?
Well, obviously, you're a very talented group of players there, and it's been interesting the last couple of years. We've seen from Seattle, I never thought I'd see the University of Washington do so well, where they finished 3rd in the nation, and the University of Minnesota won the NCAA. So it seems amazing to me that can happen, you know, but it is happening. So you know, you've got good players everywhere, and you have good indoor facilities. I'm sure you have, where you can do that. The problem with being ranked higher than you've ever ranked before is reading the press clippings and high expectations, too high. And, so that would be the one thing. I say, you know, you've got to get back to reality here. Everybody's going to be gunning for you in your own conference. So it'd be a feather in their cap if they beat you. And you know, it's a long year. So, but congratulations. That's incredible. It is.
Yeah, I'll see the boys on Sunday, and I thought, wow, what would you say to them? You know, how do you keep them?
Tell them they're not that good.
That's right.
Motivate him.
Jim, you've got a son, is he in college playing?
Just out.
Just out, what's he doing now?
Well, he turned pro. The
Okay.
youngest one, my oldest son went to Wake Forest
Right.
on a scholarship, and my younger son went to Oklahoma State. They roomed with Ricky Fowler, who's off to a great start.
That was my next question. What do you think of him?
Well,
being the next real deal.
He's the real deal. Kid's great. It's a small guy, but kid's long and fearless.
That was my next question. He's got such a fast swing. Would you ever teach that to somebody, or is that something that should
No,
be
you don't really teach that swing, but I spent a long time with Ken Venturi, who was a real big Hogan guy, and he had a fast swing too. And Kenny always talked about the fast swings are really good under pressure. A lot of times if you have a natural, like Nick Price
Right.
or something like that. The guys have a faster pace than most people think, but Fowler is faster, than most even tour players, but not too fast. When you watch him, he's got a beautiful rhythm.
Mhm.
But he's got a little swing, a little bit more like Ryan Moore. He takes the club outside and a little close. He's got his own swing, and he drops it back, kind of like Sergio Garcia,
Right.
and just smokes it. And like Sergio's a small guy too,
Sure.
and they just kill it. So they got the whole package going, they hit long, great putter. Well, Sergio used to be a great putter. I guess he's not doing that great at the moment. But Ricky told my son and his other teammates that what he's doing is just playing the same game he was playing before. It's just that he's doing it when you're playing with Ernie Els and Phil Mickelson. It's hard to take your own game out there and have the confidence to do it. I just saw Alex Prue from the University of Washington just played a great tournament. I watched Alex play with my younger son quite a few times and finished 2 shots out with the Hoch. He shot 28 under. That's ridiculously low shot.
Did you and Peter not get the memo on the pants?
We did, and we decided.
Respectfully,
My
decline.
mom,
You're a loud mouth.
You're
You're a
very
loud
fast.
mouth.
You are loud now.
Loud
What's the
mouth.
chance of that? Anyway.
Well, I am
Why
there.
why did Kenny think the fast swing was better under pressure?
Well, because he just said it's like a beat. You get something like this, you can repeat it. If something goes slow, and you try and hit it, it's just harder to do under pressure. So he thought a real slow swing, even though it's pretty, is not quite as effective when you put the gun to your head. When you kind of got a natural, that is kind of easier to repeat, which he thought Hogan had that faster pace swing, and he did too. So.
You know what was good evidence of that? Last year was Ernie Els over in Asia when he came to the par 5 final hole. He's 10 under for the round. He's got a chance to win the golf tournament. It's the one that Mickelson ended up winning, right? He looked like if he had swung any slower at the tee shot, it looked like he was going to come to a complete stop, right?
Yeah.
He's got 5 wood over the water. It looked like an impact he was hitting the ball with a piece of tissue paper. He hit the ball 50 yards short of the green into the water.
Yeah.
And ends up shooting 63, and you thought to yourself, that's the worst 63 that anybody ever shot in the history of golf. And that swing was so slow and so decent.
Well, I'm not telling you to swing fast. I was just
I
saying
understand,
that,
but there's something about
yeah.
the drowsiness that you can understand a little bit with the point that you're making.
And I would say this, Peters, when I bring him in, I do a lot of teaching myself. I mean, average, regular people. So one of the things they say is, I want to have a slow swing. I said, really? I said, well, who's got a slow swing? I said, well, Ernie Els. I said, well, I put their swing up against Ernie Els. So we start them off at the same time. And Ernie is done with his swing before they're at the top. You're really going slow. You're doing good.